Welcome to the second part of the one stroke tutorial. If you have missed the first one, it might be a good idea to just go on my channel and watch that one before this one. Then it'll make more sense. Now, remember I said that not every split cake is suitable for everything, and I showed you that when I messed up with the rainbow one. If you've got one like this that goes to different colours and you're using a full 3/4 inch brush, you might not want green on the outside and pink on the inside, because that's what it will do. It will pick up all the colours and then you end up with your flower having a green centre. If you wanted it to be a fully pink flower, you would either have to do what I did with this and use a smaller brush, or you would have to use an all pink split cake. Okay, so we've done these ones. We're now going to do these, which are a variation on this. So all you do, working in the same principle. Now, if you find it easier, draw a little circle in the middle so that you know where you're going. So you start, and then all you do is you wiggle your brush and then finish it. Now you can do big wiggles, so you can go like that, or you can do little wiggles like that. There's no right and no wrong. It's just whatever is working for you at the time. Okay, now we're now going to do these. Now when I showed you the S shapes, I showed you them from the top going down. But you can also do them from the bottom going up, and that's how I would do them for a petal. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how it works for me. So I do it from the bottom up on that side, and then that one can come down that side to meet it, and then if you need to fill it in. But what I would do on a job, and it's difficult because it's in my muscle memory, so I don't even think about it. But if I show you here, I go like that, up and then down. I'll do it again. Up and down. And what I'm doing is I'm keeping this bit here on a sort of invisible middle line. If I do that, do it a bit longer. So you're going up and then pushing in and then coming back down, pushing in. Now this bit didn't go anywhere, it stayed on that line. If I do it again for you, try and do it slowly. So we're going up and pushing the bristles to get them wider, and then twisting to meet there, up a little bit and then down, and keep your eye on this, but it's staying where it is all the time. And then that comes down like that. Oops, that one's gone a bit messy. It's because I'm trying to concentrate. But if I was just doing that on the job, I would do petal, petal, petal. I'm running out of paint. Petal, petal. It's because I've not got enough paint, my bristles are splitting. But it shows you what I mean. As I say, you find the way that works for you. If it works for you going top to bottom, that's fine. But for me, I like to do up, down. Okay, so when I did the first one, the pink one, I mentioned that you could either fill in the middle or you could add something in. Now what I've done here, I've just shown you quickly what I mean by that. What I've done here is I've just done a miniature version of that and then just done some black dots. Same here, I've done a miniature version of that and a miniature version of that and then some squiggles. You could put bling in the centre, or you can do double dip flowers. A double dip flower on top of those petals looks beautiful. So loading your brush is important. If you get it wrong and get it too dry, your bristles will split, or if you get it too wet, it'll make your paint go muddy. So the best way I have found is to put your brush in all the way to the bottom of the water, push it down like that on one side and then push it down on the other side. and then bring it out. And as you bring it out, you swipe it gently but firmly, once on that side and once on the other side, and then you'll have the right amount of water in your brush. Some artists spray their paints. Now, I don't spray my paints when, well, I don't really spray my paints at all, but especially when it's one strokes, because what I find happens is you get, if you've got a dip in the middle here, because it's a used paint, you get a pool in the middle, or your colours all run into one. And I don't want that to happen, so I do it this way. It works for me, and this is the way I recommend. But, you know, personal preference and all that. So then to load your brush, you swipe it in one direction for as much as you think you'll need. Now, that comes with practice. If you're just doing something small, if you're just doing a little loop bit in the centre of a princess crown, you're only doing that loop in that colour and then you're moving on to another one, just load the end of your brush. If you're doing a big design, then you want as much paint as you possibly can, so you want the paint to go all the way up to the ferrule. So you need to push your brush in quite hard to pick up the paint, and also in pushing your brush it splays out the bristles, which means you'll get more of the paint actually picked up from the cake. Now, I'm doing this onto paper, so it will be drier than if I did it onto skin. In fact, let's do it on skin. And there you go. And your paint should look on the skin the same as it does in the cake. So it should still be in the stripes, although it will have blended. But it shouldn't be muddy, that's what I mean. So thinking about what designs we can do with what we've learned. If you take a C shape, for instance, if you do it, say this way, you've got, in this colour, you've got the start of a flame. You can do, if you're doing a dragon or a monster, you can do scales. Or you can do the scalloping on the edge of, say, a dragon's wing. So if you do it like that, have it laying them down, then like that, then like that, then like that. That's good for scalloping. You can do butterflies. If you look here at this dragon that we looked at earlier, these here look like little butterfly wings. So you can do those. It's a little bit rough, but it just gives you the idea. So those are little bits and little elements. What about something a little bit bigger? So let's have a dolphin. So I'm just going to draw one here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is load up my brush with a good dolphin colour. Now, where you start it is completely up to you, but I always start here on the nose. So all I do is a C shape. And then here is another C shape, but you'll notice there's a fin here. Now this is a stroke I haven't shown you. What I would do for a fin is I put the brush down and flick it like that to get a sort of a triangle shape. So I'm just going to do that first. Oops, that one's a bit dodgy. No matter, it can always be fixed. And then I'm going to do this. I'm not just going to do this C shape, I'm going to do it all in one movement right round to the end, just because it's quicker and easier. And then this one here is almost like a teardrop. And then your tail can either be a couple of S's or it can be a couple of those ones just elongated. So that's what I'm going to do. And then you fill it in with your lighter colour. Touch that up a bit. There you go. Perfectly good dolphin. So there's your dolphin done in stages. Now there's nothing to stop you doing it sort of all in one, so to speak. Probably put those in first or last. You could go round there, then continue round there, and then do that. And then the other side you could go down there and continue onto that. It's whatever is easier for you, and it's however it works best for you. Once it's in your muscle memory, as I say, it will become much, much easier. Now, that was one we did in stages. What about designs that we can do all in one stroke? Now, for this one, I'm going to show you a unicorn. And for this one, I'm going to use, and I always, when I do it myself, I always use one that's got a light or white end here. So that when it goes in the middle, let's say this was the unicorn's head, when it goes in the middle, it blends in and it means that the outside is defined. If, for instance, we were to use something like this for a unicorn head, it would give a very pleasing outline, but the middle would look rather, it would look rather mucky really. So for that reason, I always like one that's got a nice light middle. So how I do a unicorn, there's so many different ways of doing it. This is one that I saw somebody do, I think, I can't remember who, and it just works for me. If you think about the head of the unicorn, you've got quite a big brow, and then it goes down into a long nose which sticks out a little bit there and then comes round, and there's a bit of a chin there, and then they've got a nice deep jaw, and then their neck comes down like this. Okay, so that's a rough shape. So to do that, what I do is I start at the top, I come down, kick out a little bit, turn my brush round on the spot really, sort of keeping this bit at the same place, kick out a little bit for the bottom lip, in a little bit, and then out for the jaw and back up. If this was needing to be filled in, I could do it. If this needs tidying up at all, again, you can do it. Your neck is just a long elongated S shape. Your ear is just a petal shape. And if you want to do the horn in one stroke, I would suggest just laying your brush down and then sort of pivoting it like that. Or you can do the horn in a completely different colour. Now I've kept this here for a reason, because if you look at this head shape, if you just change this slightly and you bring that down a bit more pointy like that, and instead of having a horn and an ear, you have something like that, you've got a dragon. So it's the same shape basically. So you come down and you go round and you go down, back up, round, big jaw, neck, and then these you could do that way, like that. And you've got your dragon. So in summary, it's about not being frightened of one stroke and choosing the right tools for the job, the right brush and the right one stroke. And don't be frightened of having more than one type of brush in your kit. I know I do. I use different brushes for different things. Get your brush control right. Know when you need to press harder, know when you need to twist, and know when you need to lift off. A one-stroke brush is quite a large brush, especially on a child's face. So you do need to be able to control it. But it will come in time, it'll get in your muscle memory, and soon you'll be one stroking away to your heart's content. So I hope that you've enjoyed that and that it's been helpful. That's my dog. Join me again next time for next one in the series of basic face painting tips.